And hello urban farmers, and welcome to another episode. This is going to be the second episode, or the second video to the garden build. So in this video I'm going to walk you through how I leveled the garden and so forth. So I was pretty happy with how the build was. In essence, we used all the recycled wood that we had. So it came to the problem when we laid the garden beds that they weren't even and they were sort of all over the place. We knew that that was going to happen, so that was okay. So the next step was to make them as level as we possibly can. Now, we didn't go for the best of the best, to have it 100% leveled or anything like that, but we wanted to be aesthetically pleasing. If it was a couple of millimeters up or down on one of the sides, I didn't really care. I want to show you the process that we went through in leveling all these garden beds so that they are as leveled as they can be throughout the whole of the backyard. Okay, so the first thing that we did once we assembled all of these together is we used these offcuts that we had from the garden beds themselves, and what we would do is we would prop those in any of the corners that needed lifting up. We started from one side of the yard, and we made sure that was level, and then we leveled everything else according to that. Now, some places we needed to dig a little bit more, some places we just sort of needed to prop these up quite a lot. Now, once we propped these up, the way that I fastened these initially was just with some brad nails, so that was a very quick and efficient way to basically get everything leveled, and then we could go down the track and tighten everything later. Now, what I did was once I got everything level, or at least to a level that I was satisfied with, I then got 35 by 70 mil construction lumber, and that's pine, I think, non-treated, and then I put that in each of the corners just to make it a little bit more rigid. Now, I also had another problem in one of the parts of my yard where the shed was, and where the shed was, there was quite a lot of rock underneath the shed, or just road base, or whatever you want to call it. Now, what I did was I dug that out as much as I could. It was only about 10-15 centimeters worth, and I piled it up, and that's essentially what I'm going to be taking to the tip. But underneath my garden bed, it should, if I'm in most parts, be reaching the actual sort of soil or clay underneath. Okay, so to brace everything together from each of the sides, we use the construction lumber, so it looks like that. There's nothing to it really, and we put these in each of the corners, and that's just to sort of hold everything together initially while we put all the soil in, so it just doesn't, the sides just don't fall apart. And we also use that because the bed is about 3 meters long, and what the bed is actually made out of is quite thin material. It's about 10, 15, 20 centimeters at most. That is actually quite frail, so we also put these in the middle, and then we're going to be fastening the middle bit of the bed together, and that's just so that the bed doesn't go kaboom, opens up when we put all the soil in. So it'll just help keep everything together. Once the soil settles, it's not going to really move much, but just that initial sort of period while the soil settles, you probably want to be fastening it as much as you possibly sort of can. So while I'm talking about fastening, so the way that I did that, I managed, the beds are about 3 meters long. Now some of them are 290 or whatever the case might be, but you know, let's say 3 meters. I marked the halfway mark, which is 1.5 meters. I drilled one of those on each side, and then I'm going to have a supporting piece of wood that runs across that, and that will be what holds the sort of bed together a little bit more, so that when we put the soil inside, it doesn't just you know, open up. So if you're wondering what the size of the beds are, in total I've just measured it, so it's 15 meters and 20 centimeters. So 15 meters of beds in total. Most of it is going to be 900 mil wide, so which is almost a meter, and then there's a bed here that is just a little bit over 1 meter wide. So 15 meters in total, I think. Well, almost, you know, if we count the other little bit over there, 15.5 thereabouts, is quite a lot of real estate to plant yeah, a lot of garden. Now, just another point that I wanted to make is that you can basically do this whether you're renting, whether you own a home, and I did all of this. Mind you, I did go and buy the lumber that was the supporting lumber, only because I couldn't wait to go and get it for free off the eBay, but that didn't cost me much. I think that costed me less than $20. So this whole lot to build costed me less than 20 bucks. And on Gumtree I just found out that you can actually get for $50 up to 15 cubic meters of mulch. So that's what I'm going to get to mulch the rest of my yard. Now, as far as filling this, I'm going to make a separate video to fill this and how I source the soil. Most of it I'll try and get the soil for pretty much as cheap as I possibly can. The only thing that I am going to pay for is I am going to go to Bunnings and buy potting mix, the cheapest potting mix that they have, which is made out of, like, you know, little wood chips and all that sort of stuff. It's really good stuff. It really aerates the soil well. The only reason I'll get that is because it, in my experience, the plants grow really well in that sort of environment, and it breaks down really well. And I'll be mixing that with the soil that I source from, you know, other places like Gumtree and all that sort of stuff. The pile that you see over there is the pile that we dug up of rock and all that sort of stuff from the garden beds, and I really wanted to go down to the bare soil, so that's why I've dug up so much. And today's job is going to be moving all of this rubbish and everything that you see that's potential rubbish here onto the trailer, and we'll be taking it to the tip hopefully next week. Thank you very much for watching this video. There's probably going to be another couple of parts to this video. Stick around, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you have, thank you very much for following my journey. If you like the video, please like it. If you dislike it, please dislike it, but tell me why. And I hope you have a really good weekend and a good start to the week, and I'll see you shortly. Bye.